Good evening to everyone. It is May the 29th, moving ever onward and upward, closing this month of talks, getting ready to close out the month of talks that we've started on May the 1st. And a thought came to me on Sunday, actually, May the 26th, the feast, as we were celebrating the solemn feast of Mary, Help of Christians. And the thought was, as I was looking around, I just saw a lot of people who were very happy, a lot of smiling faces. I saw a lot of people who were very content and happy and joyful at what they were doing, whether it be in the rosary procession, whether it be in the Mass, whether it be in the picnic. Every place I went and sat down or tried to speak with people or just tried to greet them, there was a smile on people's faces. And I was thinking, it's probably what made Christianity very, very attractive to people, was the fact that in the midst of trying times, in the early Christians, their Christianity was practiced amidst a very brutal and very struggling time, a time when people were, for all practical purposes, just on the cusp of being barbarians, and how they dealt with conflict, how they dealt with others. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, me first. Sensitivity was not really one of those issues that people dealt with. Compassion, forgiveness, kindness, charity. Those were kind of a new way of life. And those were the things that the early Christians modeled, and I think it was what made them so attractive to so many others, because there was such a contrast between their lifestyle and the lifestyle of the society they lived in. Well, here we are, 2,000 years later, and we are in a society, we're involved in a society that tells us that violence, that teaches us, rather, that violence is acceptable and even necessary at times, that violence is a way to approach others, even in relationships, that might sometimes makes right, that might often makes right. And we're in a very brutal time all in and of itself. We're in a time where intolerance is the going way of relating to others. If someone is different, if someone has a different mindset or a different culture or a different personality, a different type of that has a different baseball team even, they're our enemies. We have to argue, we have to fight, we have to be right, we have to be. I'm saying, where's the contrast in the lifestyle of our Christianity? Does our Christianity contrast enough with the social mores of today's society? Which our faith tells us also, that it's not being first, it's not being in line the first, it's not getting the most, it's not getting the most attention, the most this, the most that, it's not getting the biggest piece of the pie all the time, it's not about being right all the time, but it is about kindness and charity and forgiveness and compassion. Do we model those virtues that made Christianity so attractive in its beginnings and throughout history? Are they still making our faith attractive? Are we making those virtues evident enough in our own life that our faith becomes attractive even today, in a world that needs to experience more compassion, more forgiveness, more understanding, more charity, as Don Bosco called it, more amore volezza, loving kindness. It was certainly at the early Christians, it was a lifestyle that was a contra sign of the present society, and our faith is called to be a contradiction also. And until we get that message across, we're not called to blend in, we're called to stand out. And we stand out by the way in which we treat one another, by the way in which we reflect our kindness and compassion and forgiveness with each other. As a people of God, let's look at our own lives and see, how are we modeling our Christianity? How are we modeling our love for Christ? How are we modeling our love for His Mother Mary? It can't be just with a prayer on our lips. It has to be something that's translated into how we relate to each other. When Jesus said, do you love me? Don't tell me. Show me, Peter. Feed my lambs, feed my sheep. That's exactly what I think he meant. Don't tell me, Peter, that you love me. Show me that you love me by how you love one another. Matter of fact, it's how we love one another that shows whether we have accepted Christ, whether we have embraced this call to be followers of Jesus Christ. May we, as we close out the words this evening, decide to do just that, loving God, loving the Father, the Son, and the Spirit that we're so soon to receive on Pentecost, and loving his mother, loving Jesus' mother Mary. Let's translate our love into action, making sure that it speaks evidently to our family, and through our family to all those other people who cross our shadow each day. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you all, and hope to see you all tomorrow, May the 30th. God bless you now. And Mary, Help of Christians, pray for me. Mary, Help of Christians, pray for us.